and we could just talk and basically figure it out. But yeah, I still don't really know like what I'm gonna call this. I was thinking like roots might be a good idea because it's kind of like a double pun, and then it's got that little trail-esque name, but I don't know if that's too corny or not yet. But I was thinking
I like it.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll think on it, but yeah. If you just wanted to kind of like introduce your name and just who you are and where you're from.
Hey. So is it recording now?
Yeah.
Hey. So I'm Mischief. That's my trail name. Don't really go by my government name. But I'm a bilateral amputee that through hikes and bike tours all over the place. Originally from Louisiana, then Asheville, North Carolina, and then since 2020, I've been 100% nomadic, through hiking all over the place, and now bike touring all over the place. So
sweet, dude. Yeah. So yeah, you said you grew up in Louisiana.
Yeah.
And how long had you stayed there?
I grew up in state care. I was born in Louisiana, but I was taken from my family and stuff when I was about 5. So I don't really have like too much memory of my family.
Okay, gotcha.
And I never got adopted or anything. So once I turned 18, I moved. I was all over Louisiana in different like state care facilities, foster homes, and stuff like that. But where I didn't get adopted, so I was stuck in that until I was 18. Then I moved to New Orleans, where I was born. And then a couple years later, Katrina happened, lost everything I owned, and moved to Asheville, North Carolina. And then about 4 years, something like that. And then I found out about through hiking. And I did a long section of the AT from Daleville, Virginia to Damascus, Virginia. That was my very first hike ever. Never even did a day hike. It was humongous.
So what was the original inspiration for you to get out on the trail?
So basically, I used to hunt.
Yeah.
And I would go up to like the Bland, Virginia area, and I ran into 2 Sobos and asked them, like, because I'd never seen anybody like out there without like hunting gear.
Yeah.
They just looked different. So I asked them, like, what the hell are you doing? And not like that.
Yeah, it was just like, what's going on?
What are y'all doing out here in the middle of the woods? You don't have no arms.
Where's all the gear?
You don't have a gun.
Yeah.
You just got these packs that they just don't look right.
Yeah. They're too light.
So they said they started in Maine and they was hiking to Georgia, and I was like, huh? How the hell are you doing that? And they said this trail. And I didn't believe them. So when I got back home, I Googled the Appalachian Trail and come to find out they was telling the truth. So I was still in the Bland area, and I found out I could go to Daleville, Virginia, and hike all the way to Damascus. It's like 160 miles, something like that. So I went to Walmart and Amazon. I didn't know nothing about the fancy gear companies or nothing of that. Pack was like, no lie, probably 60, 70 pounds. I even had a kitchen sink, dude. It was made by Sea to Summit.
The actual kitchen sink. See, you
literally had everything, including the kitchen sink. But I made it to Damascus, Virginia, and I fucking fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And a little bit later, I met through work, and they moved to Arizona. So I went to Phoenix, Arizona to hang out with them. Those real good friends I worked with over the holidays in 2015. And while I was over there, I found out about the Arizona Trail. So that was my very first thru hike. I thru hiked the Arizona Trail from Utah to Mexico. And then my pack was still heavy as shit. Still to this day, I do not know how the heck I finished that trail. Because my pack, it was just so heavy. But I learned a lot, a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And I really want to do that trail again sometime soon.
Yeah.
But then the next year, after that hike, I just started looking up different trails. And mainly because I found out once I finished there was a National Scenic Trail.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately was like, what's the other one?
Yeah.
So the next trail was the PCT in 2017. And Sobo, Canada to Mexico is set for 450 to about 500 miles because of fire closures. 2017 was nothing but everything was on fire. And to begin with, everything was covered in snow. And then later on, everything was on fire. And you just could not do the whole trail that year. It was impossible.
It was just like both extremes.
Yeah, it was crazy. So 2018, once I started the PCT, I made a plan that I was going to do a 3-year Sobo Triple Crown. And I was well on my way. I'd already done the Arizona Trail, which was National Scenic Trail. I'd already done almost all the PCT. To the PCTA, I finished the trail. But in my mind, I didn't. I had to skip way too many miles.
Yeah.
So 2018, once July come around, I went back out there and hiked from Bishop Pass to Lake Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
And that finished the PCT in my mind.
Yeah.
Then August 15th, I was standing on top of Katahdin, going southbound. And was killing it. It was great. Like perfect temperatures. And then once I got to New Hampshire, Vermont, Mass, Connecticut, PA, so on, it was nothing but fall color the whole way. Until I got to Southern Virginia, and then it started getting like bare. But November 28th, November 27th, I was at Chestnut Knob Shelter on the AT. That's in between Bland and Atkins, Virginia. It's one of the only fully enclosed shelters with a door. It's all center block with a wooden door, overlooking the valley and everything. Amazing view. But that night, it got down to 5 degrees, and it started out as ice. It was a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of ice, and then it switched to snow, 10 to 12 inches of snow, depending on how high up it was. And about 6 o'clock in the morning, it stopped snowing and started sleeting. So it was ice, snow, ice. When woke up, basically, I had a box at Bear Garden Hostel. It's like 18 miles away. And I only had a jar of peanut butter with about that much in it, maybe 4 or 5 spoonfuls, and 1 bar. So I had to get to my box.
Yeah.
I had all the winter gear. Had been hiking for, at that point, like 1,500 miles, 17, something like that. Only had a little over 500 miles to go on the AT. But basically, when I went to go out the door, it was froze. Like the wood was froze to the concrete. Kicked the door open, and it was just like a winter wonderland. Snow everywhere, rime ice everywhere, wind blowing like 20 miles an hour. It was cold. But I bundled up, put my rain gear on over top of it, and went out. And I made it about 11 miles to the next shelter, took my pack off, grabbed my trekking poles, went down to the creek. It was froze over with about a half-inch of ice. Still snowing, but took my trekking poles, busted open the ice, and bent down to get the water. And when I stood up, I slipped, fell back, hit my head on a rock, and it knocked me out. And don't know how long I was out. It was daylight when I got there, and the sun was going down when I woke up or came to. But when I woke up, I was completely covered in snow from head to toe. Well, head to my legs. And then from my knee all the way down was in the water. Went to stand up, and I couldn't walk. I fell right back down, about rolled right back into the creek. And I knew I had to get to my pack because it had all my dry shit in it. So I crawled back through the snow, back up the hill. The water source is like 0.1 this way, and then it goes down the hill 0.1. So crawled up through the snow, and all the shelters on the AT are rose up about 3 foot or so.
Yeah.
So it takes a big step to get up into them unless you have a rock or something there. But I tried to get up in there, but I never made it to my pack. I woke up, I passed out not knowing. And I woke up the next morning completely 100% hyperthermic, like shaking uncontrollably. Couldn't breathe, I couldn't talk. I had a headache that felt like my head was about to explode. Later on, it was because I had a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that at that point. I was like covered in blood. Didn't even realize it. It was bad. But I got to my pack, got everything out of it. My phone was dead. My spot was dead. My battery bank was dead. It was all, yeah. I pulled the bag out because I was going to charge my phone when I got back up.
Yeah, you were ready to make it to like out of there.
Yeah. And yeah, it just sit there on that cold floor all night long, and I don't even know how cold it got. It was fucking cold.
So after that occurs and you wake up, like how coherent were you? Were you able to understand like how perilous the situation was, or were you
not in to begin with?
You were just like,
so I didn't realize even what had happened.
Yeah.
To begin with.
So it just happened so fast, or
like I crawled, got myself back up into the shelter, and I went to stand up, and then I fell. I couldn't put weight on my feet.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that really happened. Because when I hit my head, it spun me for a loop.
Yeah.
Like when you fall on ice, you fall hard.
Yeah.
And I just knew I was in trouble. So I stripped down, got my fleece, my puffy, my raincoat on. I had down pants. I went to put them on, but then I figured out I couldn't take my shoes and my socks off. The socks and my shoes were froze to my leg.
Oh my God.
I went to go like this, but down there, because I didn't have these at that time.
Yeah.
It was pulling the skin off. It was bad.
So you said you said it was Bear Garden that you're going to, right?
Yeah.
The hospital. How far was that distance from there to?
Probably like 8-9 miles.
Oh my God. And
no roads anywhere. The closest road to me, the hospital
was that one
right across the street.
Yeah.
So I knew I was in trouble. I had zero food. I had zero water. The only way I could get water was to crawl back through the snow back down to the creek. And no phone, no way to charge it, no nothing. I was 100% screwed in every way possible. My only choice that I could figure out was to try to crawl out of there. And that's what I tried to do. Not that next day, I just sit there hoping somebody come down. Because Not Mall Shelter is kind of sitting like this. Going Sobo is like this, going Nobo is like this, and it turns. Going either way, you look straight into the shelter. Nobody could walk past without seeing it.
Yeah.
But nobody showed up. About 10 o'clock the next morning, this is basically day 3, the beginning of day 3 with no food. And it was warming up. It was like 50 degrees. But the shelter's down in the roadies, so it was all shaded and still pretty cold. So I decided I was going to crawl out of there. At that point, I didn't know I had frostbite or anything. I just knew I couldn't walk. I didn't even know what frostbite was. It's Virginia. You don't hear about that.
Yeah.
So I started crawling out of there. It didn't really feel anything, like in my feet. It just kind of hurt every time my feet hit. It wasn't bad. It just felt like they was just ice cold and it wouldn't go away.
So by the time that it started warming up, were
Yeah.
you also kind of warmed up, or were you still
So
cold?
once I got out of the roadies and I got into the trees,
Yeah.
it's late November, there's no leaves.
Okay.
About 20, 30 minutes after I was in the sun, I think my feet thawed out. And that's when every feeling come rushing in. Put it in perspective, I broke my back, my L3 and my L4, herniated, pinching a nerve. Used to motocross race. Bike in front of me wrecked. My front wheel hit his gas tank, flipped over, bike landed on top of me, and another bike landed on my leg, completely shattered it. None of that compares to how that felt. Like, it was the most excruciating pain I've ever been in my life. Anytime my feet hit anything, I would just start crying uncontrollably, shaking. It was bad. And I had only gone maybe 0.2, 0.3, and it had already been over an hour.
So it was that third day that you decided, once it started warming up, you were like, okay, I'm gonna try and get out of here.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, literally anytime my feet touched anything, it was the most excruciating pain I'd ever been in. Like, I would crawl
Yeah.
crawl up in a ball and cry. Crawl up in a ball and cry. It was terrible, man. Like, I don't know how to even explain it. It was bad. So my only choice at that point, I knew for a fact I would not get to that road before it got dark.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to get cold and snowy again. And it did. It snowed a shit ton that night. But I turned around and went back to the shelter. I knew somebody had to come through there. So now it's December 1st. Nobody showed up. December 2nd, nobody showed up. Not until 10 o'clock at night on December 3rd. 2 Sobos I hadn't seen since Harper's Ferry, a little girl named Rocket and her dad Hunger. They called up to me and they showed up there completely soaking wet, shivering. It was cold as shit again. And to begin with, they didn't even realize I was in the shelter. They just kind of walked by and started setting up the shit. And the little girl seen me and she kept coming over and walking back, coming over and walking back. And then finally, the dad walks up and asks, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I probably looked like a druggie from hell. I was half dead. Like, I was starving.
Yeah.
Like, so much stuff was going on with me. But I couldn't talk. My body was so weak, I could just barely get anything out. But eventually they figured out that I was in some serious trouble. That night, like I was saying, it was snowing again. It was cold as shit. they showed up soaking wet and shivering. They was going to go out like 11. It's now 11:30 or some shit. They was going to go out and try to get help, and I told them just to wait until in the morning because I was scared they would go out there and just same fucking shit happen.
Yeah.
Like, didn't want anybody like risking their life going out in the middle of the night when there's snow and ice everywhere.
Yeah.
For somebody they don't even really know because I just kind of passed them. Didn't really talk to them. I just remember seeing them. So the next morning they left, went to get help, but help didn't arrive until almost dark the next day.
So that's what?
5 days.
5 days? Oh my God.
I ran out of food that first day, and that was just like 3 or 4 spoonfuls in the bowl.
And now at that point, is it?
When they got there, they gave me food, but it ran straight.
I was just about to say, at that point, it's probably dangerous to eat food right away. Right?
I tried to eat, and yeah, I puked and shit everywhere, like within 5 minutes.
Oh man, dude.
Couldn't keep water down. They gave me water. They gave me a little bit of food. All of it, as soon as I would swallow it, 5 minutes later, it's right back up.
Oh, jeez.
So once help finally arrived, I'm in critical condition. Like I have zero energy. I'm just there. They take me to Withville Hospital, cut my shoes off, cut my socks off, and my whole front of my foot is just black.
Oh,
from like, yeah, from all this. I used to be at 12. You put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Now my foot's like this big.
So was it your entire foot or just that portion?
My whole foot was black.
Whole foot was black?
So from here down was just like really red. And then it just got darker and darker and darker and then just gray and black the rest of the way.
And so when they were doing that, were you awake for all that? When they were taking everything off and seeing that?
I was awake. And then they just walked out the room. They told me I was going to lose my feet. And
then they just walked out?
Yeah, it felt like a cancer patient, dude. Because you know how, like, I don't know if you've been around anybody with cancer.
Yeah.
But doctors are scared to deal with how you react.
Yeah.
So they say, sorry to tell you, but you got cancer. And they immediately walk out the door. That's what they did to me after I'd already hiked close to 3,000 miles. Oh, close to 5,000 miles. Counting the AT, PCT, Arizona Trail. At that point, I'm pretty much a career through hiker.
Yeah.
And then you go in there and they can tell you you're going to lose your feet and walk out the door. I completely fucking lost it. Like, completely. And then I sit there for hours. Nobody did anything. Nobody come in. Nobody did nothing.
No one was in there for hours after? Dude.
I'm in there freezing my butt off, looking at my feet, crying, screaming. I'm a fucking wreck, man. Nobody will talk to me. Nobody will do anything. They won't give me any fluids. They won't hook me up to anything.
What?
Because they didn't know what to do, apparently.
But someone there has to.
I don't know.
That's insane.
And then, basically, my heartbeat gets low enough, it's setting off the thing.
Yeah.
Then finally, instead of flying me, they load me up on a gurney and put me in an ambulance to drive 4 hours to Wake Forest.
Oh my God, dude.
Somewhere along the way, my heart stops. And that was scary. Like when I came to, I don't know, but it was crazy.
So your heart completely stopped?
Yeah.
And what did they hit you with the defib?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then when I got to Wake Forest, my heartbeat was 15 beats a minute.
Dude.
I was basically just emotionless. I couldn't move. I was so weak. But all total, I had like feel right there.
Right on the back?
Yeah.
Right here?
Yep. All the way across.
Oh, horizontally?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
That's where I hit my head.
That's where you hit your head?
And I had a bunch of stitches or staples back there. Basically, I had lost a shit ton of blood. They had to give me, I think it was like 2 pints or 1.5 or some bullshit. And my liver was failing, my kidneys were failing, my body was eating itself. On top of that, I had 1st-degree frostbite from about right here to here, 2nd-degree frostbite from the middle of my calf to my ankle, and then what they call deep frostbite the rest of the way. That's the kind that goes all the way to the bone marrow.
Oh.
Once it touches the bone marrow, whatever's in front of that is gone.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah. Man. Here, let me I just want to make sure that we're still rolling. Yeah. All right. So this may be a stupid question, but I just want to ask it because I'm curious. That moment where your heart stops and they bring you back, was there any sort of recollection of anything from
then? I
then?
don't remember.
So from
I just know everything went black, and then all of a sudden I was back.
And when you came back, were you already at that destination?
No.
You were still in transit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So in total, what is that? They made you wait for a couple hours in the emergency room by yourself.
All total, I was 6.5 days without food.
Oh my God, dude. So you're borderline a week without food or water.
That's what I mean, and I was pretty much dead.
Dude.
Yeah. I
Oh my God.
I really shouldn't be here. But basically, when I got to the hospital, they finally hooked me up. They had me so much stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
They had me in ICU, and I was in ICU for 3 weeks. And when I was in there, I made a promise to myself. All the doctors, it was crazy, man. All the doctors were telling me I would never hike again. I'm sitting here on the internet, on the TV, looking at hiking gear, trying to make my pack, looked at stuff to make my pack as light as I possibly could. I'm in the hospital, almost dead, and I'm still planning to do this shit. It's crazy. All the nurses were looking, and it was like, what is this guy thinking?
So
Except for this one. She was like, you're going to do it. It's pretty cool. I really wish I would have got her number.
she was. Did you get her name?
Nah.
Really?
I don't remember. Yeah. She was like my biggest supporter the whole fucking time I was in there.
Wow.
But
that's crazy that it was only one person out of everyone.
Yeah.
So they would see you look, and I'm sure that they probably asked like what you were doing.
Yeah.
Was that just the immediate answer? Like, oh, like that's never gonna happen?
Pretty much.
Dude.
It's like you can't do that with no feet. And that's what was drilled into me the whole time, man, is you can't do this and you can't do that. And I believed them for a while. I mean, I was still looking up all that stuff. But yeah. But basically, when I was in there and I was finally coming to my senses and stuff like that, I made a promise to myself that if I came out of this and I proved them wrong, I was going to quit the rat race and travel the world on my own 2 feet, what's left. All 100% by human power. And after 3 weeks, they sent me home. and my right foot got gangrene like 2 days later. And this time they flew me back to Wake Forest, and they cut even more off of that foot. It used to have about that much more. Now it's pretty much at my ankle. But yeah. Then I didn't have anywhere to go. I had a place. My fiance I had been with for 4 years came to the hospital one time when I very first got there. Said everything will be okay. I'll be there when you get back. Acted completely fine. I get home from the hospital. She's gone. All my stuff is gone. And I can't work. I'm in a wheelchair.
She took all your stuff?
Yeah. Changed her
What?
number, deleted all of her social media accounts, and still never heard from her again. Yeah.
Dude, what?
Yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Oh my god.
So I lost my
dude.
house, lost my car. I was a partial half owner of a tattoo shop. That's what I used to do. That's why I'm like covered in tattoos. But had to sell it, and then only option I had was my ex-fiance's grandmother. She took me in. And all of 2019, I sat in my room completely feeling sorry for myself. I couldn't take a shot. I couldn't even, it was crazy, man. I couldn't even take a fucking bath by myself. I couldn't get in the fucking tub. I couldn't do anything but roll around in the fucking wheelchair. I couldn't even crawl because my feet had just been cut off. If it hit anything, it fucking hurt like hell. Because it was just bone and nerve. That's it. And I was just like everybody else that this shit happens to. When something really drastic happens to you, it fucks with your mind. And if you don't have the right kind of support, you fall into a deep depression and you just feel sorry for yourself and stay locked up in your room. That's what I did from February all the way until July. And then one morning I woke up and said I was going to prove everybody wrong. So I load up my pack with like 20 pounds of gear, and I tell my grandmother I'm going to physical therapy. She's like, with that? What do you need that for? And I was like, you'll see. Went to physical therapy, rolling in on a wheelchair with my pack sitting on my lap. And I told him I'll do anything you want me to do, but this is going to be on my back the whole time. Because I didn't want to learn to walk. I wanted to learn to walk with something pulling me backwards. I was supposed to be in physical therapy for 4 months. It kicked me out after 3 weeks. Said I was doing everything way too easy. So they kicked me out. I didn't have no help doing it. So I started walking up and down the road. To begin with, my grandmother's driveway, it's like maybe half mile. To begin with, I'd get down there, but I had to call her to come get me because I couldn't get back up the hill. And then eventually I got to where I could go a mile, then 2 miles, then 3 miles. Then I decided it was time to get on the AT and see if I could actually hike up the mountain. So the craziest mountain I could think of near where I was at was Dragon Tooth. So Christmas Day 2019, me and my buddy Snacks went to Dragon Tooth Trailhead, went up the Andy Lane Trail, then the half-mile climb up. Got up there easy as could be. I about died coming back down. Like my feet just got so sore coming downhill. That's when I learned downhill was going to be a little bit harder for me, at least for a while. But right after that, I was like, well, I got up it and down it, so now I'm going to hop back on the AT and try to finish the damn thing. This is not even a year after This is January. It hadn't even been a year yet. I'm still in the trainer rocker shoes or prosthetics. I hadn't even got a pair of prosthetics yet. And I get back on at I get on at Parisburg, Virginia, and start walking south. I only could do 4 miles a day, and it would take me all day. Like literally, like a half mile, sit down until the soreness goes away. Walk another half mile, sit down until the soreness goes away. And I did that all the way to Damascus, Virginia. And then COVID happened. And I was planning on staying on trail. I even made a video saying I was going to stay on trail. But the problem was all the hostels south of me, except for 19E, closed up. I couldn't do the miles or carry the weight to carry enough food to keep me going. So I got off trail until July. I got back on in Georgia, hiked to Damascus, then I jumped up to Parisburg and hiked all the way to PA. So I finished the trail plus about, 1,000 miles?
Yeah.
Something like that. But I went through 15 pairs of prosthetics, and every time I couldn't afford like spare prosthetics. So every time they broke, I would be back at my grandmother's in a wheelchair until they got new ones, which was usually like 2 weeks. So that whole time in 2020, every time they broke, I was completely off my feet, 100% for 2 to 2.5 weeks.
So just a quick question. You need those to walk.
Yeah.
So what would happen when they would break because that would happen on trail, right?
Yeah, it happened a bunch.
What would happen?
I tried to walk without them. And it don't work too good.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I've never had them both break at the same time.
Okay.
So if both of them broke at the same time, I'm not sure exactly what I would do. Because let's say this side breaks.
Yeah.
So when either side of my prosthetics break, I physically cannot step past the other foot because I don't have the kickoff or roll off. Because this is what gives me that. When it's broke, it's just like I'll fall straight over.
And what would be the...
Basically, if one side breaks, this is me walking. Step up, step up.
Gotcha. So you can only match where that other foot goes.
So every time that happened, that's what I was doing. And the first time they broke was Molly's Ridge Shelter. And I hiked from there all the way to Irwin, Tennessee like that.
Wow. So what would be the main cause of them breaking in the first place? Would it be
to begin with, it was just because there was cheap fiberglass and all this every time, because after a while, I got to where I can go.
Yeah.
I couldn't go very far, but when I was moving, I could go. Like, I got to where I could run basically downhill. But every time I did, that's when it broke.
Okay.
And then 21, I got my first pair of carbon prosthetics. And I was like, I'm golden now. I can do whatever. No, take that back. I still had the normal prosthetics, and I through hiked the foothills trail. The second day, I left prosthetic foot. And you can even go back and watch the video. Like, it was crazy. And I think this is 2020 and 21 is when the determination really kicked in. Because I was like, I didn't come all the way down here to South Carolina to hike for one day and go home. So I strapped my prosthetic to the back of my pack and then hiked like this all rest of the 60 61, 62 miles to Table Rock.
Oh my God.
And then when I finished, I went back up, and then I got my first pair of carbon prosthetics. And then I came up with this route to see the rest of the Appalachia. So October 21, went back down to the Foothills Trail, started at Table Rock, went to Oconee State Park, finished it, Bartram Trail to Chiola Bald on the AT, all the way on the AT through the Smokies to Davenport Gap, then the Bent McKay Trail Sobo, backtracked, Pinhoti Trail Sobo. When I was on the Bent McKay Trail, I had in my mind that I could through hike the AT. And when I got to Springer, I even signed the logbook, I'll be back in a month. And that's exactly what I did. 22, started February 7th, and made it to Delville, coming down Dragon Tube, where it all started for my prosthetic foot.
No way.
Then it got repaired, and I made it to Swift Run Gap. It got repaired, and it didn't even last 300 miles. Then I got my first pair of my current prosthetics made by Tech Systems. And that's when everything got crazy. Immediately after I got them, I didn't hop back on the AT. I wanted to try something different, something harder than the Virginia part of the AT, because the people that made these said they could handle anything I threw at them. So 2 days after I got them, I didn't even know if they fitted right. Mountain Mike from Angel's Rest, that's when I was working there.
Yeah.
He was going up to New Hampshire to his dad's house. So he dropped me off.
No.
He dropped me off in North
In the
Adams.
whites?
He dropped me off in North Adams, Massachusetts, and then I through hiked the Lone Trail.
Oh my God.
And then right after that, I did the New Jersey Petona Trail. Immediately after that, I did the West Virginia Allegheny Trail. Immediately after that, while I was on that, I seen a post about the Appalachian High Route. And this is like September. Nobody's going to do it yet because it summits all the 6,000 footers. It's now, I think, November. And I head down to Hot Springs, North Carolina, and do the Appalachian High Route, which for me is Hot Springs, North Carolina to Clemens Dome to Mount Mitchell, the Black Mountain Crest Trail to Burnsville, North Carolina, and then a road walk, Forest Roads to Spivey Gap on the AT, and then back to Hot Springs.
Oh my God.
During that is 350 miles, but I summed it every 6,000 footer in North Carolina while doing that route. Then I went down to the Florida Trail, did it, and then February of 23, went down to Florida in December, January. Then February, I went back to Swift Run Gap on the AT and started hiking north. I get to Harper's Ferry, they finally break. And that was over 2,000 miles, 10 and a half months, and then they broke. When they broke, the prosthetic company wanted to know who the hell I was because they've never had a pair of these break. And I went to my prosthetic place and to get fitted for a new pair, and he handed me the phone and said, somebody wants to talk to you. So owner of Tech Systems. And long story short, that day I became sponsored by the company. And since then, I got these. What did I do? Yeah, I've done so much shit. So once I got my second pair of these, I was in New Hampshire with my broken prosthetic working. And that blew their mind. I was going all up and down them steps and everything, cleaning all the rooms, doing all the laundry with a broken prosthetic.
So
Never complained a single time.
So was this a time where you had started working at a hostel? Because I know you mentioned that before.
So since 22, when my prosthetic broke, that's when I started working at a hostel.
Gotcha.
When they broke in Dragon Tooth,
Mm-hmm.
I was at Angel's Rest for like 4 days, and was hanging out with the crew. I became friends with them.
Yeah.
And Optimali, fucking love that girl. She's fucking awesome. So when my prosthetic broke, Sprocket gave me a ride to Angel's Rest, and then my grandmother came and picked me up there. 2 or 3 days later, Fatimali messaged me and says, "Hey, while you're waiting on your prosthetic or whatever, why don't you come here and hang out with the hikers, help with your," because I get post-trail really, really bad.
Yeah.
Because when my shit breaks, I'm 100% physically, mentally just going, and then snap, I'm off trail. It's not like I can just go to a hardware store and buy a new pair.
Yeah.
That's what makes me different than everybody else. Most people, if something breaks, you get it at the next town. You just keep going. You just do without it for a while. Me, if it breaks, I'm kind of screwed to its extent.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still hike as long as it's just one. But both of them break, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's never happened, so thankfully. If that happened, I'd probably be stuck.
Yeah. So
call for help or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, before we, I guess, progress into not only what you're currently doing, but what you do plan on doing, I think it would be important to bring up what we were talking about earlier, because it kind of applies in that situation entirely. Like if they are to break, like it's not like you could go to anywhere and find
basically, if I don't have both of these, I can't walk. I literally cannot stand up because this foot is cut in the arch. Your arch is naturally higher on one side than it is the other, so my foot sits like this. If you look here, this thing has got a huge raise in it, and there's wedges in here. But I can't take all this off because technically the string's broke, so it's all wrapped around.
Yeah.
But basically, if I was to stand straight up, my foot is like this. My heel is literally an inch off the ground. And the only thing that touches the ground is that corner of this foot. The rest of it's off the ground.
Wow.
So if they break, I can't walk. Only thing I can do is crawl around because I threw my one side. Yeah, I kind of left that out. Once I got in my mind that I wasn't going to stop, I built a bonfire and threw my wheelchair in it. So I didn't have a wheelchair anymore. And I refused to, no matter what, get in a wheelchair.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's definitely one hell of a I'm doing this.
Yeah. So
holy smokes.
Yeah, so if they break, if both of them break, I'm screwed. I can't walk, I can't hike, I can't pedal. Only thing I can do is crawl. But if that happened, knowing me, I would figure out some daggone way to get out of there. Under my own power. I know I would. I mean, I've been, as this goes on, you'll see I've gone through so much shit, but I still keep going no matter what. I mean, this is broke now. Like, the wind-up part that keeps it on there. But I just got it wrapped up like an ace bandage and still keep going. But so since back to the other, since 22, I've worked at hostels. Angels Rest, no, 21. Angels Rest was my home base for 3 years. I lived/worked there. So after the hiker season, I would go do a through hike, come back there, through hike, come back there, through hike, come back there, back and forwards the whole time. That's where all my other gear was. So when I needed to change out gear, I just went there, changed out the gear, and then took a bus to wherever. And that's when I did all them trails in 22. Then 23, I started, well, in the fall of 23, I started working at Old Colony Ski Club. All that year, I didn't really do a whole lot because one, I just didn't have the money to do it because I had been out there. That year, 22, I had been on trail from February until May, and then June until February. Almost a full year through hiking all over the place.
And was it any specific area, or were you just bouncing around?
Every trail on the East Coast.
Every trail on the East Coast?
Yep, pretty much.
Whoa.
Except for the AT and that, every trail.
Yeah.
So the Long Trail, the Finger Lakes Trail, the New Jersey Batona Trail, the Allegheny Trail, the Bent McKay Trail, the Hoodie Trail, Florida Trail, Foothills Trail, Bartram Trail. Was going to do the Sheltoy Trace, but then the Appalachian High Route came about, so I did it. So, yeah, the only trail on the east I haven't done is Sheltoy Trace, but that's kind of more Midwest.
Yeah.
So or at least every trail that interests me on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Which is, I've literally hiked across just about every state.
It seems like you've literally touched it. Like you've gone, you found every single possible trail that you could and went and did it.
Yeah. So 23, I was pretty much broke. I worked Angels Rest for Nobo from March until I think June. Then I hopped on the AT again. Swear, me and the AT. I hiked from, I don't even remember where I hiked from. But I hiked like 200-300 miles. Was it just killing time until I went to New Hampshire?
So was it around like that area? Were you in that?
No, it was north. So
it was further north.
Yeah. So somewhere Virginia up into PA.
Okay, got it.
And then the prosthetics broke. I went up to New Hampshire to work. And then whenever I got back to Harper's Ferry, is when they broke that time. That's when they broke after the 22 and all that. So when they broke, I started working at Cross Trails because Learning Curve was there. He was going to Shaw's and there was nobody to help out. So I helped out until I went to New Hampshire. After I got done working in New Hampshire, I went back to Cross Trails and then went to Roanoke, Virginia to get these. Then I went crazy again, except for this time, not hiking. When they broke in 23, I decided I was going to take a break from through hiking. That's after thousands and thousands and thousands of miles hiking before and as an amputee. And when I was working at Cross Trails, I met a guy named John who was biking from Oregon all the way to DC. Never seen anybody with a bike and bags on their bike. So I asked him a million questions, and when I was in New Hampshire, I bought the bike, all the bags, and when I got to Cross Trails, it was all sitting there. So my very first trip on the bike, I yo-yoed the gap in the CNO. It's 150, 185, and then back again from DC to Pittsburgh and back. And I liked it. So I decided, crazy how I am, whenever I start something, I dive head first as far as I can possibly go. So I decided, it's wintertime now, it's November 1st. I decided I was going to ride from Cross Trails Hostel to Knoxville, Maryland to Key West on the Eastern Divide route in the wintertime. And I almost did it. I got to Tallahassee, Florida, and I had a mini stroke. And that ended the trip. And that ended everything for until about trail days the next year. So that happened February 1st of 24. And that took me out until trail days.
So,
And
real quick, I just wanted to make sure that it's still going because obviously it's the first time. But so I wanted to touch on that real quick because I heard you talking about it.
yeah.
Did that occur while you were on the bike?
But
That you said you had a stroke, right?
no, I was at like a hostel.
Oh,
I got there earlier that day, and the next morning I went to take a shower,
yeah.
and when I was in the shower, it just didn't feel right. And I don't know, just something was off. I couldn't pinpoint it. But by the time so the shower's here, I go down the hall around the corner, I sit on the bed, and then it hits me. And I was thinking I was having a heart attack because my chest just felt like somebody was sitting on it. Then my face went numb, my arm went numb.
Oh, jeez.
It was bad. And I was just curled up in a ball, couldn't move, couldn't talk. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, right. I was just about to say,
I
dude,
couldn't move, I couldn't
Jesus.
talk. And
Oh my
then finally
gosh.
I snapped out of it. I stood up, walked around the corner to the other room, knocked on the door, and the only thing I remember saying is I think I had a heart attack and I fell. And then I
Oh,
woke up in the hospital. And come to find out, I had a TIA, which is a mini stroke.
oh my
You
gosh.
have all the symptoms, but usually it's no like lasting like brain injury or anything like that, but it's still a stroke.
Now, was this a derivative of anything that was current, or was it just random?
They couldn't figure out what
Couldn't
caused it.
figure it out. Oh my god.
Like they were saying, like I was nothing wrong with me, perfect health, everything, but I had a stroke. They think maybe I had a little clot and it just kind of went through. That's why they couldn't find it.
Whoa.
I don't know.
That's scary shit.
They couldn't figure it out, but they had me on all kinds of medicine and stuff. But now it's been going on 2 years since then.
Yeah.
So once I bounced back from it, that took a while. Back in April of 24, I started riding the bike every day, at least 5 miles a day.
Yeah.
Some days, then it moved to 10 miles a day. But I did that for 68 days straight. Then I went to trail days, hung out with all my friends, and then I hitched a ride with my bike up to Harper's Ferry. Then I yo-yoed the CNO in the Gap 2 times because it's an easy trail. I was trying to get myself back right because I had one hell of a comeback plan. And I even posted like a hint, like, y'all just wait, it's going to be a comeback of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And I was mentioning, I'll show you in a little bit.
Yeah. And
it's pretty crazy because I said that
yeah.
2 days after I had the stroke, and then I actually did every single thing I was saying I was going to do.
Well, it seems
Pretty
like
cool.
that's the reoccurrence, right? Is not only did it seemed like you were that person before all this happened,
Yeah.
but once you had all these, circumstances occur, it just strengthened it,
Yeah.
which doesn't happen.
Yeah.
People like
it's
you
like
mentioned.
It's like I take hardship and I flip it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why or how or anything how that started to become. But as this stuff keeps happening, I keep bouncing back better than I was. It's crazy.
That's the craziest part.
It's weird. So I made a comeback plan, and I called it the comeback of a lifetime. And I'm still on it. So basically, I yo-yoed the gap in the CNO 2 times. That's over 700 miles on 2 trails. And then I did it again, and then rode up to Cleveland, rode to Cincinnati, and then I went to New Hampshire to work again. When I left New Hampshire October 1st, that's when, so rode from Lincoln, New Hampshire to Conway, Gorham, Bethel, Maine, all the way to Hancock, Maryland on the Eastern Divide route, then the Trans-Virginia route to Front Royal, Skyline Drive, and the Blue Ridge Parkway, all the way across Virginia. Right before I started that trip, Hurricane Helene happened. While I was in New Hampshire, I teamed up with all the Appalachian Long Distance Hiker Association. And that ride, I called Ride for Appalachia. And I raised almost 10 grand for the AT communities that was affected by Hurricane Helene. So Damascus, Irwin, Tennessee, Hot Springs, North Carolina, and around the Bears Den area, and towards Asheville and so on.
That's amazing, man.
Once I got to Fancy Gap, Virginia, I took a week off for the holidays, and then I went back down to Tallahassee. Rode to Key West to finish the Eastern Divide route from Bethel, Maine to Key West. Then I took the ferry to Fort Myers, rode to St. Petersburg, over to Daytona Beach, up to DC to Pittsburgh on the gap in the CNO, my own route from Pittsburgh all the way up to Buffalo, the Empire Trail from Buffalo to Albany, New York, Empire Trail from Buffalo to Plattsburgh, New York, then my own route up into Canada, down to Head Islands of Vermont, to Burlington, and then cross Vermont to Lincoln, New Hampshire, rode across every single notch in the White Mountains. Then I connected to the Eastern Divide route again to finish the damn thing in Gorham, and now I'm in Stratton, Maine. And I got 280 miles left to finish the U.S. part.
To finish the whole U.S., it seems like, dude, that is a crazy amount of miles.
So, but I'm not done once I get to Cornell where this ends. Then I'm riding down to where the East Coast Greenway starts, riding it all the way back down to DC. That finishes the interior and the coastline of the East Coast. So, when I was riding to Florida in 24, round in Georgia, I came up with a crazy plan. Like always. So I turned this into a world tour. And the comeback tour of 24 was 5,600 miles after having a stroke. When I was in Georgia, I was like, well, let's one-up it and turn it into a world tour. And now I'm 15,000 miles into it.
Oh my gosh.
So the world tour is not just on the bike like you see most people do. My world tour combines through hiking and bike touring. 20 long distance trails, and then bike across every continent. The lower 48 of the US, the Dalton Highway in Alaska to Victoria, over to St. John's. Once I get to this part, when I go up to St. John's, that'll also be the Canada part of the Eastern Divide route. So I'll finish Canada and the whole Eastern Divide from Nova Scotia to Key West. Once I'm done with that, then I go to San Diego, ride all the way to Argentina, then the top of Sweden to the bottom of Italy, all over Europe, and then as far of the Middle East as I feel safe. Japan, New Zealand, Australia to bring around Iceland. 13 of the trails is in the US, and then it's the Hexatrek in France, the TRAILWON in New Zealand, hike across Japan. There's a couple trails in England I want to do, and there's the Great Divide in Canada, all the National Scenic Trails.
And then when we have
all the trails that you just heard me say I've done, they're all part of the world tour, so I gotta do them again.
And then once we can travel to other planets, you're gonna start taking on other. I mean, is the crazy. So you've told me this already, and you even just reiterating it is phenomenal, dude. Yeah. This is awesome.
So that's this whole world tour thing. I officially started it in 24, and I'm currently 0 miles on the through hiking part of it because I've been on the bike the whole time. So the 15,000 miles is all on the bike, the lower 48 part.
Yeah.
That's 15,000 miles just on the East Coast. So imagine how many miles the whole US is going to be.
I mean, I can't even imagine.
Because, like, if you go to put it in perspective for the US and everywhere else, go to bikepacking.com and look at all their routes. That's what I'm doing, is all of their routes.
All the routes?
Through the states. And using my own routes to connect them. That's what the current route I'm doing, DC, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, all the way back around to DC. I'm calling it the Wild East Loop, which highlights all the amazing places in the Northeast. But it's also connecting different routes that's on bikepacking.com.
So who knows how long it's going to be? It's going to be a completely different route than
the longest stretch thing I've seen so far for the lower 48 is 23,000 miles.
Oh my.
I'm already over half of that, and I've just rode across let's see. Everything so far on the East Coast, except for Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, which I'm doing them on my way down. And I've rode across Ohio and that's the only thing on the west so far.
Yeah.
So that's up in the interior and the coastline of the east. All over the place. Zigzagging everywhere. Like just in the Whites, I rode every single notch there. Like every road that bikes are allowed on in the White Mountains, I rode it. In 2 days.
In 2 days?
Yeah.
Dude.
And then I took 2 days off in Gorham because that was a lot of elevation.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was a lot of elevation. Yeah, dude.
And
that's crazy.
The one that did me in was Jefferson Notch.
Yeah.
That's the highest point of any highway in New Hampshire. 3,008 foot. and it was 20% grade for 8 miles going
my
up. And the same going down. I'm slipping and sliding every damn way. Going like 30 miles an hour down this hill,
God,
go around turns, kind of drifting and shit.
Oh my God. Dude.
But, so you might ask, what the hell's after the world tour? So I basically just told y'all my next 5 to 10 years. The biking's going to go by a lot quicker than the through hiking because you only can hike so many miles per year.
Mm-hmm.
So the AT, the PCT, and the CDT, they'll be just like 1 year probably. And maybe a shorter trail before or after. But afterwards, I got another adventure planned that don't involve anything about me. It's all about giving back. So somewhere along the AT and a major bike route, like the Eastern Divide route, hopefully, that would be cool. I want to open up a hostel. It's 100% donation based. You pay if you can. If you don't, there's no mandatory thing. And it's 100% free other than that. And it's going to have Wi-Fi, showers, everything.
Yeah.
And it's all going to be just donations, nothing else. That's the plan.
Yeah.
And get a van on the off season, go to other trails and do trail magic. And that's the rest of my life, basically.
So you this is crazy because you've not only planned your journey, this world tour, but you've also planned your journey afterwards to give back to everyone that essentially the community that is I mean, I'm definitely backing you on this, and I'm sure
the community that stood behind, like, when my shit broke in 22, the communities who paid for my prosthetics.
Yeah.
Like when they broke in 22, they broke the first time going up Little Hump. And then when I got down to 19E, first round was there. They said, let's do a fundraiser to try to get your new ones. To begin with, I said, no, I'm not doing a fundraiser. I'm not doing it.
And why did you say? We
eventually did it, and then the hiking community bought my first pair of these. And I'm owe it to the hiking community for becoming sponsored by this company. Because this company wouldn't have known, because the insurance won't cover these.
Yeah.
So I would never have had a pair of prosthetics like the ones I have now if it wasn't for the hiking community. Like, it was insane. Fresh Ground made that. I posted it on mine. We woke up the next morning, $7,000. The prosthetics all total was $5,800, and then we kept getting good donations, and everybody was saying to help keep you moving forward. Nobody. I tried to send back so much money. Nobody would take it. It's like, if your prosthetics is paid for, use it to keep moving forward. It was fucking amazing, and to this day, I'm forever thankful. Like that, when them broke and that happened, it completely changed my life because now I'm sponsored by the company. I have spare prosthetics, something I've never had. And now, unless something health-wise happens, basically unstoppable.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I don't know any way.
I mean, you say
the only thing that's ever stopped me on any adventure is breaking. I've never quit a through hike. I've never quit a bike tour. I've never skipped any damn thing, except for on my that very first trip. It was too snowy in some spots. and I had to skip a little bit. But through hiking, never skipped anything anywhere. Bike touring, been all over the place. Don't care, just go.
So I think on the subject of your extreme tenacity,
Yeah.
like it's out of this world. I think it's important to also mention that it's not just the physical factors, but what you were talking about before with them canceling your disability.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask me how I afford to do this. And for a long time, it was because I was legally disabled. Well, and this year, and it kicked in June 1st. Basically, I don't know if somebody told them or called them or I don't know what caused it, but basically they don't see me no longer disabled. Yeah, I do all this stuff, but what people don't see or know unless you out there with me, when I hike, yeah, I can do 15, 20 miles a day, but every hour, even more so when it's hot and humid out. I mean, imagine having your leg, having to wear long ass socks, and then having this around your leg the whole time when it's 90 degrees and 80% humidity.
Yeah.
I have to stop and let this air out. When I hike, my feet still get sore even to this day. But if I stop and take my shit off for like 10, 15, 20 minutes, put it back on, I'm good as new for another hour or two. I stop a million times a day to do this. Normal people don't have to stop that much. Even smokers don't stop that much. And if they break, put it this way, the only thing that makes me able, these. If I don't have these, I can't do nothing but crawl around or sit in a chair like that and stroll around.
Which is ridiculous to say that, to cancel your disability and say that, you know, basically say that you aren't disabled anymore.
Yeah.
When if those broke, you wouldn't be able to walk.
100%.
That's ridiculous.
But everybody kept telling me I should appeal it, I should appeal it, I should appeal it. The reason I haven't and I'm not going to appeal it is because it's a broken system. 100%. And at least, I don't know about the other states in the US or other countries, but in Virginia, it's a broken system. You only can have $2,000 in all your accounts. If you go over that, they take it from you and cut your benefits. The insurance only works in the state you live in. When I had that mini stroke in Tallahassee, insurance didn't cover it. Nope, I got the bill for the whole damn thing. It's a system to keep disabled people poor and at home because they can't afford to go nowhere. They can't afford to do this. They can't go out of state because their insurance won't work. So me, I'm never in Virginia. So why do I need that insurance if it only works there? I make more in one paycheck working at a hostel than I did in a month. Like I only got $400 a month. That's it. And I still made it work to do all this shit I do. Though I do get a lot of help because I do have a lot of supportive, very, very, very supportive like followers and stuff. So I do get donations every now and then, but it's not something I can depend on or something that adds up every month to where I can do this. And like when I was on the 18 and 22, I had all the social media working for me. I was Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Instagram don't pay no more. Facebook, that still makes some, but YouTube, I get paid once a year. That's like $100. And Facebook's like 60, 70, 80 bucks a month. And that's all the income I got now. But I still keep going. when that happened in May, right after trail days, I started this trip knowing that. Stopped in Brunswick, Maryland. Very resourceful too. Stopped there, went around to different places, different businesses with my camera, and was like, gotta do a video for you. I can do this, do this, do this. Show them what I do, and 3 of them agreed to it. That made me $1,000. Then I started this trip and kept going. And now I'm out. I've been out here this time since October 1st. And I'll be out here until August 15th. Take a month off, then it all starts all over again. Don't know where, haven't planned that yet, but other than getting that back down to DC. Once I get to DC, I don't know. We'll see. Depends on, really, it just depends on money.
Well, it's. I think it's. I mean, it's such an important aspect to cover because, I mean, almost every hike that I've been on personally, that's the one of the first things that someone who hasn't gone and done what they wanted to do says to me is it's either, oh, you know, I'm either too old to do this, or it's some physical ailment stopping me, or oh, I can't afford this, but this is what I want to do. You know, I wish I could do it. That's the thing, is you're the literal embodiment of I'm doing what I want to do, and if I set my mind to it, it's happening regardless of the situation.
Really and truly, I'm the poorest MFer you'll ever meet. Like, I don't ever have $1,000. It's always way under that, except for when I work. And then when I work, I live like I'm even poorer than I do now. I don't spend money on anything other than food because I want to use it to keep going. The more money I spend while I'm working, the less money I got when I go. I only work to keep going. That's it. I'm trying like hell to get it to where I can just do this full time and not work. That's the end goal.
Yeah.
But I don't have the following to be able to do that yet. I have close to 30,000 followers all total, but it's not on one platform. So I have like 11K on Facebook, like 8K or something like that on Instagram. Then I'm coming up on 4 or 5K on YouTube.
Well, I really appreciate you like sitting down and breaking all this down because, like I said, I mean, it's literally because of Grizzly this morning, and then you tell me about your story that I was inspired to even just start this based on what I had. Like, I don't, you know, I have a light that they left. God knows how old that thing is. That thing doesn't even have a lampshade or anything. It works, and I found a tripod, and I got my phone set up. Like, so already this is something that you have inspired me to do, and I just wanted to thank you for taking the time out of staying here and recovering to break this down, because hopefully I could, you know, who knows, maybe in the future we'll be sitting, I'll have this like fitted for a studio or something, and I'll have you back on, and you know, like you never know, bro, and hopefully too, just, you know, reiterating your story, I'm sure, you know, you've probably shared it a bunch now, but
not all of that. Some of that I don't ever talk about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, thank you for being so open, and yeah, man, I hope that this could stem into something that helps you as well, and like I said, man, like we're behind you. We're gonna figure out in our own way how we can support the trip.
I really appreciate it.
Because that's phenomenal, man.
Yeah. And speaking of that, we never did tag my socials.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to follow along with all my crazy adventures as an amputee, I'm Mischief _ on the trail on all the socials. Mainly Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But yeah, Facebook and Instagram's more up to date. YouTube, I just do like long kind of series. But yeah, follow along.
Yeah, and I'll get it from you too and link it and everything and stuff. But
that'd be cool.
thank you, bro. Thank you for taking the time to do this, man.
No problem.
And being the first episode too. If this ever turns into anything, like, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll definitely share it when you do something with it.
All right. Yeah. No, I'm gonna try and